What if I told you that the secrets of the universe, everything from the rhythm of your heartbeat to the law of karma, were encoded in 7 ancient principles? And what if those principles were handed down by a mysterious figure who lived thousands of years ago, revered as a god by Egyptians and as a sage by Greeks? Welcome to the world of Hermes Trismegistus, the master of masters, the mystical teacher behind one of the most profound spiritual philosophies the world has ever known. This isn't mythology. This is Hermeticism, a powerful, practical system of wisdom hidden in plain sight, waiting for those who are ready to understand. By the end of this video, you'll know the 7 Hermetic principles that govern the universe. And maybe, just maybe, you'll never see reality the same way again. Let's begin. To understand the 7 Hermetic principles, we first have to understand the mind behind them. Or perhaps the myth? Hermes Trismegistus is an ancient, almost mythical figure, part legend, part divine messenger, and part human philosopher. His name means Hermes the thrice great, and he's believed to be a fusion of 2 gods from 2 great civilizations. Thoth, the Egyptian god of wisdom, writing, and magic, and Hermes, the Greek messenger god of knowledge and alchemy. According to the ancient texts, Hermes lived in Egypt during a time so ancient it predates Moses, possibly even Abraham. Some traditions say he lived for 300 years in the flesh. Others claim he was never born at all, but descended from the heavens. Whether he was man or myth, one thing is certain. His teachings have survived for thousands of years, whispered from teacher to student in secret schools, passed from lip to ear in temples and sanctuaries across Egypt, Greece, and beyond. He didn't start a religion. He didn't demand followers. He simply handed down truth, and only to those who were ready to receive it. As it says in the Kybalion, the lips of wisdom are closed, except to the ears of understanding. So what exactly did he teach? Hermes Trismegistus taught what's called the Hermetic Philosophy, a complete spiritual science that reveals the hidden forces behind reality. It's the secret behind alchemy, astrology, and the occult sciences. But it's also the root of modern psychology, quantum mysticism, and even parts of today's religions. At the heart of Hermeticism is this: everything in the universe, everything, is governed by invisible laws. Hermes didn't preach dogma. He offered tools. He didn't say, believe this. He said, understand this, and master it. These laws are not just theoretical. They are practical. Understand them, and you begin to master yourself and reality. These teachings were eventually distilled into a compact volume known as the Kybalion, written by the mysterious 3 initiates in 1908. It presents the 7 great Hermetic principles, the keys to the universe. Let's now unlock them, one by one. The all is mind. The universe is mental. The Kybalion. This is the cornerstone of Hermetic philosophy. According to Hermes Trismegistus, the universe is not a random collection of matter or unconscious energy. It is a living, thinking mind, an infinite consciousness that contains all things. Everything you see, planets, people, thoughts, even time itself, exists within this cosmic mind. You can call it God, Spirit, or the All. The name doesn't matter. What matters is the insight. Reality is mental. Imagine a dream in your own mind. The people, the places, the events, they all seem real, but they exist only within you. Hermeticism teaches that we exist in a similar way, within the dream of the All. Here's where it gets powerful. Your individual mind is not separate from the universal one. You're a thought within the thinking of the all, and that gives you the ability to shape your reality from within. This is the art of mental transmutation, changing your inner state to transform your outer world. Instead of reacting to life, you begin to create it. Not with force, but with focused thought, intention, and awareness. Because every transformation begins not outside, but within the mind. As above, so below, as below, so above. The Kybalion, this timeless phrase is more than poetic. It's a key to unlocking the hidden structure of reality. The principle of correspondence teaches that the universe operates on repeating patterns. The macrocosm, the stars, galaxies, and divine forces, mirrors the microcosm, the human mind, body, and soul. What happens in the vastness of the cosmos reflects what's happening within us. The movement of planets mirrors the cycles of thought. The body echoes the mind. The external world is a reflection of the inner world. If you want to understand God, study nature. If you want to understand the heavens, study yourself. And if you want to change the world around you, start from within. This principle empowers the Hermetic student to decode the invisible through the visible. The same laws that govern atoms govern solar systems. The tides of the ocean mirror the tides of emotion. Nothing is isolated. All is connected. That's why Hermes said, "Studying the monad, he understands the archangel." When you learn to read the correspondences between above and below, within and without, you begin to see through the illusion of separation and step into the deeper wisdom of unity. Nothing rests. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. The Kybalion. Everything in the universe, every atom, every thought, every emotion is in constant motion. Nothing is truly still. Even objects that appear solid and unmoving are vibrating at microscopic and subatomic levels. From the highest spiritual light to the densest stone, all is vibration. This principle bridges the gap between science and mysticism. Today, we talk about quantum vibrations and energy fields. Hermes taught this thousands of years ago. And here's the key. Different things vibrate at different frequencies. That includes your thoughts and emotions. Love vibrates at a high frequency. Hate, low. Peace and clarity, high. Anxiety and confusion, low. And here's where it gets practical. By shifting your vibration, you shift your reality. As the Kybalion says, he who understands the principle of vibration has grasped the scepter of power. This is why meditation, breathwork, chanting, and even certain thoughts can lift your state of being. You're not escaping reality. You're tuning your mind to a higher frequency. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. The Kybalion, hot and cold, light and dark, love and hate, high and low. These aren't different things. They are the same thing, just at opposite ends of a spectrum. There is no absolute cold, only varying degrees of heat. There is no pure darkness, only the absence of light. Even truth and falsehood are not absolutes. They slide along a scale of perception. Understanding this is liberating. It means that any state, even a negative one, can be shifted by degrees. Hate can be transmuted into love, fear into courage, ignorance into understanding. This is the heart of mental alchemy. The Hermetic masters knew how to change their inner polarity, to slide from one end of the spectrum to the other. This is the real power behind emotional mastery, transformation, and even influence over others. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Once you master polarity, you can shift your inner state, not by force, but by understanding. You don't have to fight darkness, you just turn up the light. Everything flows, out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The Kybalion. This principle teaches that everything in the universe moves in cycles. Nothing stands still. Day fades into night. The moon waxes and wanes. The seasons shift. Nations rise and fall. Even your thoughts and emotions follow this rhythmic pattern, from joy to sorrow, clarity to confusion. Hermes called it the pendulum swing. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. In other words, the higher you go, the lower the swing back, unless you learn how to rise above it. This is where the law of neutralization comes in. The Hermetic master doesn't escape the rhythm, but through conscious awareness and inner balance, he's no longer controlled by it. The pendulum still swings, but he remains centered. Imagine being emotionally steady in the midst of chaos, calm during conflict, grounded while the world sways. That's the power of mastering rhythm. This is why spiritual practice, like meditation, self-inquiry, or breathwork, matters. It trains you to observe life's rhythms without being pulled by them. You don't resist the flow. You ride it, like a skilled surfer navigating waves. Rhythm becomes your dance, not your downfall. This is known as the law of neutralization. The Hermetic master learns how to avoid being dragged into extreme emotional states by polarizing at a higher level of consciousness. The swing still happens, but it doesn't shake him. This is why spiritual practice matters. The more you cultivate awareness, the less life can pull you off center. You don't escape rhythm, you learn to surf it. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. The Kybalion. Nothing happens by accident. This principle teaches that everything in the universe operates according to law. Every thought, every action, every experience is part of an infinite chain of causes and effects. Most people live as effects, reacting to life, circumstances, moods, and external forces. They drift, unaware of the deeper laws at play. But Hermetic wisdom calls you to rise above that, to become a cause, a conscious force of creation. The masses are carried along, obedient to environment, like pawns on the chessboard of life. But the masters play the game instead of being played. The Kybalion. This is the essence of mastery. Even the concept of karma finds root here. Every choice sends ripples into the world. Every intention plants a seed. And the universe, governed by cause and effect, ensures those seeds eventually bloom. But here's the power. Once you understand the law, you can work with it. You begin to shape your life intentionally, rather than being shaped by unconscious patterns. You're no longer a creature of fate. You become the creator of it. True freedom, according to Hermeticism, isn't found in escape. It's found in aligning with the laws that govern all things and learning to use them wisely. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. The Kybalion. Before you think this is about physical sex, it's not. The principle of gender speaks to a universal truth, that everything in creation is born from two complementary forces, the masculine and the feminine. The masculine is active, assertive, projective. The feminine is receptive, nurturing, creative. Together, they form the engine of creation on every level: physical, mental, and spiritual. Every thought, every invention, every idea is conceived by the feminine aspect of your mind and given form by the masculine. This isn't about people. It's about polarity within everything. Light and dark, yin and yang, mind and matter. The Hermetist learns to balance these inner forces, and from that union, creation happens. And here's something profound. Every person, every soul, contains both principles within. When you master them, you become a conscious creator. If you would understand the philosophy of mental and spiritual creation, you must understand this Hermetic principle. The Kybalion. It is the inner harmony of masculine and feminine that births power, art, healing, and even awakening. So there you have it, the 7 Hermetic Principles of Hermes Trismegistus. These aren't abstract ideas. They're living laws, forces you can observe, understand, and apply. Let's quickly recap. 1. Mentalism. All is mind. Master your thoughts. Master your world. 2. Correspondence. As above, so below. Patterns repeat across all planes. 3. Vibration. Everything moves. Raise your frequency to raise your life. 4. Polarity. Opposites are one. Shift your state through understanding. 5. Rhythm. Life flows. Ride the tide instead of drowning in it. 6. Cause and effect. Be a creator, not a victim. 7. Gender. Unite the forces within. Create with balance. These are the laws behind the laws, the blueprint of the universe. And now, you know them. But knowledge alone isn't power. Applied knowledge is. As Hermes said, the lips of wisdom are closed, except to the ears of understanding. So let this video be more than information. Let it be initiation. Start watching your thoughts. Notice the rhythms in your life. Observe polarity at play in your relationships. See the cause behind every effect. When you begin to see the world through the eyes of Hermes, you stop being a wanderer and become a student of the mysteries. The Hermetic teachings were never meant for the masses. They were meant for those with eyes to see and ears to hear. If you've made it this far, maybe, just maybe, you're one of them. And remember, when the student is ready, the teacher appears, the Kybalion. Welcome to the path.